I didn't expect Elena to smile at me that morning. Bright, confident, perfect in every angle. The kind of smile that made people forget everything else. She handed me the CEO promotion letter like it was a gift. "Well?" she asked, tilting her head. "Happy for me?" I smiled back, careful. "Of course. Congratulations, Elena. You've worked hard for it." She leaned closer, voice dropping just enough to be intimate. "You always support me, don't you?" "I appreciate that." I nodded, though a small warning bell rang somewhere in my chest. "Always." Raj, my assistant, hovered nearby, eyebrows raised. I caught his glance, the one that said he noticed the tension I was pretending didn't exist. "Did you see the board's faces?" "Everyone's thrilled," Elena continued. "It's our victory, really. I couldn't have done it without you." "Aha," I said, letting the words slide. Inside, anger simmered. Victory? Not hers, it should have been mine. She'd orchestrated a last-minute sabotage on the Thompson deal. If I hadn't caught it in time, the company would have lost millions. And she smiled while doing it. "You okay?" Raj's voice pulled me back. "You're quieter than usual." "I'm fine," I said, though I wasn't. Fine never felt like this when betrayal lingered in the air. Elena's eyes sparkled, oblivious. "You always make me feel safe. Like nothing can touch me. That's rare, you know." I swallowed my frustration. "I guess I trust people too easily." Her laugh was light, teasing. "I should take notes. You'd make a terrible CEO if you didn't trust me." I clenched my jaw. Terrible? Maybe. But wrong? Not entirely. She was charming, dangerous, brilliant. All in one package. Too late I realized the danger had been under my nose all along. "You've changed, though," I said cautiously. "You've gotten bolder." She tilted her head, playful but calculating. "Boldness gets results. You should try it sometime." I kept my expression neutral, but inside I was recalling every subtle trick she'd played over the last 6 months. Misdirected reports, manipulated deadlines, whispered rumors to the board. Every small cut had been invisible, precise, strategic. I'd almost trusted her completely. "Raj," I muttered under my breath, "make sure the Thompson deal files are double-checked. I don't want surprises." Raj gave a small nod, understanding. He always did. "Already on it," he said softly, then added, "Watch yourself. She's slippery today." "She's always slippery," I replied. Quietly for him to hear, but everyone slips eventually. Elena's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then back at me, still smiling. "Looks like the celebration's already starting without me. Shall we?" I nodded, forcing a casual tone. "Sure. Lead the way, CEO." She laughed, the kind of laugh that made everyone in the room turn and smile. That smile, the perfect, confident one, was the same one that hid a knife in my back. I let her walk ahead, pretending ignorance, pretending trust. But inside, I already started counting the steps toward her fall. The boardroom buzzed with congratulations. Everyone clapped. Everyone smiled. Everyone except me knew the truth. And I didn't have to say a word. I just watched, silent, calculating, and letting karma take its first breath. I sat at my desk long after Elena left the celebration, staring at the files she'd forgotten to submit on time. Every delay, every misstep she'd pulled, it all replayed in my head like a film. Raj appeared at the doorway, coffee in hand. "You're still here?" he asked. His tone was careful, like he was stepping on glass. "I need to think," I said, not looking up. "About Elena. About everything." He raised an eyebrow. "You mean about trusting her?" I finally met his gaze. "Yes, trusting her. Or thinking I could." Raj leaned against the doorframe. "You've always been too trusting. You see the person you want, not the one standing in front of you." I let out a humorless laugh. I should have noticed sooner. There were signs. Small ones, subtle. But signs. "What kind?" he asked. "Give me one." I rubbed my temples. "Remember the Carson deal?" She said she'd handled the presentation, claimed she had it under control. I trusted her. Presentation got delayed and half the data was wrong. She blamed a system error. Everyone believed it. Raj nodded slowly. "She's good. But she's playing a dangerous game." I looked down at my hands. "Dangerous for me. Or dangerous for her eventually," he said, sipping coffee. "Patience, you know?" I clenched my fist. Patience, yes. That was all I had now. I remembered another time. Maya had asked me to reconsider a budget allocation, and Elena had subtly influenced the board against me. I dismissed it at the time. Too trusting. Too blind. A knock on my office door made me tense. Clara, the analyst, stepped in. She carried a folder. I found discrepancies in Elena's reports, she said quietly. Small ones. But they add up. Discrepancies? I asked, keeping my voice calm. Yes. Numbers don't match her statements. Some invoices are missing and projections are skewed, she explained, eyes wary. I thought you should know. I leaned back in my chair. I already suspected. I just needed proof. Clara hesitated. Are you going to confront her? I shook my head. Not yet. Let her make the next move. Mistakes have a way of revealing themselves. And I'll be ready. Raj cleared his throat. Be careful. She's charming, she can talk her way out of anything. Don't let her charm distract you. I smiled faintly, bitter. Charm and a perfect smile. That's her weapon. I've underestimated it before. Clara frowned. Do you really think she sabotaged the Thompson deal? I nodded. It wasn't an accident. She timed it perfectly, tried to pin the blame on a system error, made it look like I mismanaged the team. Classic Elena. Always calculated, always a step ahead. Raj shook his head slowly. Sometimes I wonder why I still stick around. I laughed softly. Because you're smart. And loyal. Both rare qualities. Clara glanced between us. You need a strategy, not just anger. I know, I admitted. That's why I'm being patient. Watching. Collecting. Waiting for her to slip. Raj leaned in closer. You're already ahead of her. You just don't see it yet. I took a deep breath, trying to steady the storm in my chest. I need to make sure every board member, every investor, knows the truth eventually. But I can't let anyone suspect me now. Not even Elena. She thrives on suspicion. Clara bit her lip. And what if she finds out? I shrugged, though my heart beat faster. Then she'll regret it. But she won't know until it's too late. Raj gave me a small, approving nod. Good. Keep it slow. Watch her carefully. She'll reveal herself sooner or later. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. I just hate how perfect she looks while she's breaking everything around her. Clara quietly closed the folder. Just don't let it break you too. Not yet. You need your head clear. I know, I whispered, more to myself than to them. I've learned the hard way. Trust can be deadly. And charm is the deadliest weapon. Raj put a hand on my shoulder. Then let's make sure we're ready when she decides to strike again. I nodded, feeling a cold determination settle in my chest. The signs were there all along. I had just been blind. Not anymore. And this time I wouldn't be the one falling. The morning started like any other, but I could feel it in my chest, that tight, sinking weight. Something was about to snap. Elena breezed into the office, coffee in hand, smiling as usual. Morning, boss, she said, too casual, too perfect. I looked up from my desk, holding a stack of reports. Morning. Did you see the Thompson project files? She waved a hand, brushing off my question. Relax. I handled it. You trust me, right? I wanted to throw the files across the room. Handled it? I repeated, voice low. Because from where I'm standing, the project's a disaster. Deadlines missed, numbers off by millions, and you? I swallowed, trying to keep calm. You knew about this, didn't you? Her smile didn't falter. Knew? I don't follow. Don't play dumb, Elena, I said, standing. I caught your little tweaks last night. You thought no one would notice the missing data. You thought I wouldn't check the projections myself. She laughed lightly, tilting her head. You always overreact. It's just numbers. Just numbers? I repeated, voice rising. Just numbers that could ruin this company. Just numbers that could ruin me. Raj appeared behind me, arms crossed. She's not going to back down easily, he said quietly. I don't care, I snapped. This isn't about backing down. This is about accountability. Elena leaned forward, eyes sparkling with mischief. Accountability? You're the one always hiding behind spreadsheets, trying to control everything. I'm the one taking action. I clenched my fist. Action? Is that what you call sabotage? She shrugged. Sabotage? Harsh word. I call it efficiency. Someone has to make decisions here. Someone has to move the board. You're too slow. Clara stepped in, holding her tablet. Actually, Elena, your changes caused a 30% error in projections. The board will notice. The investor call this afternoon will be messy. Elena's smile faltered for half a second, but she masked it instantly. Messy? That's dramatic. I prefer to call it strategy. I shook my head, voice low but sharp. Strategy? You deliberately misled the board to make yourself look better. You've been plotting against me since the moment this project started. I trusted you. She tilted her head, mock hurt in her eyes. Trusted me? And yet here you are, glaring at me like I'm the villain. Aren't you supposed to be the level-headed CEO in waiting? Level-headed. I spat the words. I'm furious because I gave you every chance to do the right thing. And you stabbed me in the back. All smiles, all charm, while nearly destroying what I've built. Elena's laughter, light and musical, hit me like a slap. Oh, come on. You're dramatizing. I was helping the company survive. You're too emotional. That's your flaw. I felt my vision narrow. Flaw? My flaw is trusting you. I turned to Raj. Check every email, every revision, every report. I want proof of everything she's done. Raj nodded. Already on it. You won't need to ask twice. Elena smirked. You really think you're the only one who notices things, don't you? I stepped closer, voice cold, controlled. I know enough, and I promise you, Elena, I won't forget. Every small lie, every manipulated report. I'll remember. And when the time comes, everyone will know the truth. Her eyes widened slightly, but only for a moment. Then she laughed, brushing it off. Oh, I'm sure. You're very dramatic. Always overthinking. I'm dramatic? I echoed. You'll see who's dramatic when the board starts asking questions. When they realize the errors weren't accidents. When they realize you've been playing games for months. She leaned back, voice smooth. I'll take my chances. I exhaled slowly, trying to calm the storm inside me. You don't get it, do you? It's not about taking chances. It's about justice. Karma. Your perfect little smile won't save you forever. Clara stepped closer, whispering, We'll get the proof. Don't worry. I've saved every discrepancy. Raj placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. You're not alone. We're with you. I nodded, focusing on the tight knot in my chest. I know, but it still hurts. Trusting someone like her, it hurts more than any failure could. Elena smiled again, charming and infuriating. Well, I hope your heart heals quickly. You'll need it for all the battles ahead. I watched her leave the office, confident, untouchable in her own mind. But inside I was already planning. Every move she'd made, every small betrayal, was etched into my mind. And I promised myself, this wasn't over. This was only the beginning. I sat in my office long after Elena left, the city lights casting sharp lines across my desk. Every move she made played in my mind over and over. I needed a plan, not just anger. Raj leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. You're thinking about her again, aren't you? I didn't look up. Every second of the day. She's dangerous, Raj. Too dangerous to confront blindly. He smirked slightly. Then don't. Watch. Learn. Let her slip on her own mistakes. That's the problem, I said, finally meeting his eyes. She rarely slips. Everything she does is calculated. Raj nodded. Then we need to be more calculated. You, me, and Clara. She won't see it coming. Clara? I asked, raising an eyebrow. You trust her with this? She's sharp, loyal. She already found the discrepancies in Elena's reports. If anyone can gather evidence without alerting her, it's Clara. I leaned back, rubbing my temples. I can't let anyone know I suspect her. Not the board, not Derek, not even Maya. If she senses suspicion, she'll destroy me first. Raj stepped closer. Then you stay calm. Let her make the next mistake. And when she does, we strike. I exhaled slowly. Strike. That's the word. I've never felt more determined. Clara stepped in, tablet in hand. I've compiled all the discrepancies I could find. Emails, revisions, missing invoices. Everything points to manipulation on her part. I took the tablet, scanning the files. Good work. Keep everything digital, secure. No paper trail she can trace. She hesitated. And what about timing? When do we confront her? I smiled faintly, though it didn't reach my eyes. Not yet. Timing is everything. I want the board to see the mistakes unfold naturally, without her knowing I orchestrated it. Raj nodded approvingly. Patience. That's how you win this. I leaned forward, voice low. She smiles, she charms, she makes everyone forget the damage she's done. That smile, it hides a knife, Raj. Every small cut she's dealt me is invisible, precise. I almost missed it entirely. Raj's expression hardened. Then make sure she doesn't escape this time. Clara bit her lip. And if she suspects anything? Then she underestimates me, I replied calmly, though my heart raced. She always does. That's her mistake. Every villain thinks they're untouchable. I stared at the ceiling, thinking. I need her to trust me again for now. I need her to believe I'm oblivious. If she sees suspicion, even a flicker, she'll turn the tables. Raj crossed his arms. You've been too kind before. That's why she thrived. This time you're the predator, not the prey. I smiled faintly, a shadow of satisfaction. Predator. I like that. Every move calculated, every step watched. I can almost feel the first misstep she'll make. Clara adjusted her glasses. And when she does? I stood pacing. We document. Every slip. Every lie. Every small sabotage. Then quietly we let the board see it. No drama, no theatrics. Just proof. Cold. Hard. Unarguable. Raj grinned. I like your style. Quiet, methodical, deadly. I paused, feeling a chill of resolve. Deadly, yes. But not careless. We can't afford a single mistake. One wrong move and she'll ruin me before I can act. Clara stepped closer. You're ready for this? I nodded slowly. I've waited too long already. Months of betrayal, months of trust broken. I'm ready. But not for revenge. Not yet. I want justice, Raj. Karma. And it starts with patience. Raj clapped me on the shoulder. Then let's set the stage. Watch her, record her, let her think she's untouchable. She won't see it coming. I returned to my desk, opening another folder, scanning emails she'd sent. Every word, every action I've been tracking. She thinks she's brilliant. She's brilliant, but predictable. Clara whispered almost to herself, she won't know what hit her. I looked up, eyes cold. No, she won't. And this time, I'll make sure she learns exactly what it means to betray someone who trusted her completely. Raj grinned, stepping back. Then we wait. And watch. I leaned back, my thoughts sharp and silent, my plan forming in every detail. Elena smiled in the next room, unaware that every step she took, every word she uttered, was leading her toward a reckoning she could never see coming. And I would be ready. The office buzzed as usual, but I could feel the tension under the surface. Elena moved through it like a queen, smiling at everyone, oblivious to the storm I was brewing. Raj appeared at my door, leaning casually. She's on her best behavior today. Too perfect, don't you think? Perfect for everyone else, I said, scanning the room. Except me. I see the cracks. Raj smirked. Then watch closely. She'll reveal herself soon enough. I turned to see Elena laughing at something Derek whispered to her. My stomach tightened. Every laugh, every casual glance, it was all calculated. She's manipulating the room, Raj. Watch how everyone bends to her. He nodded. Like moths to a flame. I clenched my fist, and I almost burned myself trying to admire the light. Clara appeared at my side, tablet in hand. You want me to track Derek's interactions with her? Yes, I said, voice low. Derek's suspicious, but he isn't completely loyal. If he notices something, we need to know immediately. Clara tapped her pen thoughtfully. And Maya? She suspects too, I admitted. But she's cautious. Smart enough to wait and watch, just like us. Raj glanced around. So we wait. Let her play, let her charm, and we collect everything she does. Every smile hides a strategy. She's dangerous, I whispered, mostly to myself. And she doesn't even know I'm paying attention. Elena approached my desk, notebook in hand, her perfect smile intact. Good morning. Everything under control? I looked up, calm. Yes. Just reviewing some numbers. You? Oh, just ensuring everyone's motivated, she said brightly. You know me, always keeping the team inspired. I nodded slowly. Inspiring. That's important. Especially in critical projects like Thompson. Her eyes sparkled. Thompson? That project is fine. You worry too much. You always worry. I leaned back, letting her words hang. Worry keeps me alert. You should try it sometime. She laughed lightly, brushing it off. Alert? I prefer results. Worry doesn't produce results. Clara whispered from my side, she's trying to unsettle you. Maybe, I admitted, voice low. But I won't fall for it. Not today. Elena glanced at Raj and Clara briefly, then back at me. You all look so serious. Don't tell me I'm boring you? I smiled faintly. Hardly. You're engaging. She tilted her head, mock curious. Engaging? That sounds like a warning. Observation, I corrected. Engaging is the truth. Raj whispered, keep her talking. See where she slips. I nodded, focusing. So, tell me, Elena, how do you manage to keep everyone smiling while you juggle deadlines, board politics, and investors? She shrugged, playful but calculating. It's easy when you know exactly what to say. Charm goes a long way. I let out a dry laugh. Charm. The deadliest weapon. She leaned closer, conspiratorial. And you? Do you rely on charm or strategy? Strategy, I said, voice firm. And patience. Charm without patience is useless. Elena laughed, almost genuine this time. Patience. That's boring, don't you think? Not when it makes the difference between winning and losing, I replied. Patience lets you see the moves before they happen. Her expression flickered, just a fraction, before returning to her confident smile. Clever answer. I like that. I stood, voice low but deliberate. I like honesty even more. And Elena, honesty is rare in this room. She raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Are you accusing me of dishonesty? Not yet, I said slowly, savoring the tension. But everyone has limits. Everyone reveals themselves eventually. She leaned back, pretending amusement. Well, then I suppose I'll have to be careful. Can't have my flaws exposed too soon. I nodded, inwardly counting the steps ahead. Flaws hidden too long often cause the biggest disasters. Clara whispered, she's cracking just slightly. Raj grinned. Exactly. Watch closely. She doesn't realize we're ready. Elena spun on her heel, heading toward the boardroom, still smiling. Try not to get too serious, okay? Life's more fun with a smile. I watched her go, the tension in my chest tightening. That perfect smile, the same one that had hidden months of sabotage, wouldn't save her. Not for long. And when the first crack finally appeared, we'd be waiting. I let out a slow breath, turning back to my desk. Shadows and smiles, patience and cunning. That's how battles were won. And Elena didn't even know the war had begun. The office felt different that morning. Quiet, tense, like the calm before a storm. I watched Elena from my desk as she moved through the cubicles, smiling, handing out praise. But I could see the tiniest cracks. Raj appeared at my side, whispering, she's nervous? Not much, but enough. I smirked. Good. Let her feel just a fraction of what she's caused others to feel. Fraction? He asked, eyebrow raised. Enough to make mistakes, I replied. Enough to let her arrogance betray her. Clara walked in, tablet in hand. I flagged the discrepancies. Every minor error, every skipped report. It's all here. I can start cross-referencing them with her emails. Perfect, I said, voice low. We need to be meticulous. She's clever but predictable. She always leaves a trail, even if she thinks it's invisible. Raj leaned against the desk. So, what's the first step? I tapped my fingers on the edge of the desk. Observation. Let her think she's untouchable. Every call, every meeting, record it. Watch her responses. Look for hesitation, overconfidence, any slip. Clara nodded. And if she changes her tactics? Then we adjust, I said firmly. We're not reacting emotionally. We're methodical. Precise. Elena approached, her usual radiant smile plastered on. Morning. Busy day. Yes, I said calmly. Critical investor meetings. Your input is valuable, I assume? Oh, always, she said lightly, brushing past me. I've prepared for everything. You'll see. I caught Raj's smirk. Prepared, huh? He whispered. We'll see about that. I turned to Elena, voice steady. Actually, yes. Let's review the Thompson projections before the investor call. I noticed some numbers seemed off. Her smile faltered slightly, just enough. Off? I double-checked everything. I nodded slowly. Double-checked. Interesting. Because Clara found some irregularities in the past reports. Simple mistakes, maybe, but patterns emerge over time. Her laugh was light, almost nervous. Patterns? You're imagining things. I assure you everything is fine. I leaned forward. Fine? The board will see differently. Every number counts. Accuracy is everything. One error and credibility is gone. Clara whispered, she's starting to sweat just a little. Raj added, good. That's what I like to see. Elena's eyes darted briefly toward the boardroom. Well, I suppose mistakes happen. Everyone's human, right? I smiled faintly. Human, yes. But intent matters. And repeated patterns, they tell a story. Her confident mask cracked for a second. I caught it. Just a flicker. Then she smiled again, perfect, like nothing happened. A story, huh? Intriguing. I'd like to hear yours sometime. I stood, voice calm but cold. Stories are for lessons. And lessons are best learned before it's too late. Raj whispered, she's unsettled. Keep pressing. I turned back to Elena. We'll review each discrepancy. Every minor error. No excuses, no explanations. Just facts. You'll see the impact of your decisions. She raised an eyebrow, forcing composure. Decisions? You mean mistakes? Decisions, I corrected. Because intent is clear. And history will show the truth. Clara stepped forward. I've already documented everything. Emails, revisions, notes. Even your assistant Simon has been helpful in pointing out inconsistencies. Elena blinked. Simon? What does he know? I smiled faintly. More than you think. Everyone leaves traces. Actions, words, patterns. You can't erase them. Raj whispered, she's realizing this might not go her way. I leaned in slightly. Elena, charm only works until reality catches up. And reality never lies. Her hand tightened slightly on the tablet she was holding. Her voice dropped, controlled but tense. I'm confident in my work. Confident you'll see that. I nodded slowly. Confidence is admirable. Arrogance is dangerous. Let's see which one wins today. She glanced at the clock and then at me, smile still intact but eyes wary. Well, I suppose we'll find out. I leaned back, feeling a thrill of satisfaction. Karma was in motion and she couldn't stop it. Every misstep, every hesitation, every subtle slip would surface at the right time. And when it did, she wouldn't have charm to shield her. Clara whispered softly, it's only a matter of time. Raj nodded. Exactly. Watch. Wait. She'll bring it all to us herself. I exhaled, letting the tension leave my body. Patience, calculation, observation. That's the plan. And when she finally realizes she's not untouchable, it will be too late. Elena walked away, still smiling at the team, unaware that her carefully crafted empire was teetering on the edge. And I was ready. The tension in the boardroom was palpable. Elena entered with her usual confidence, smiling at everyone as if nothing could touch her. But I could see it, just barely, a flicker of unease in her eyes. Raj leaned toward me, whispering, she's starting to sense pressure. Just a little. I nodded slowly, voice low. Good. Let her feel it, but not enough to panic. We need the cracks, not the collapse, yet. Elena approached Derek, laughing at a joke he made. I noticed the subtle hesitation in her movements, the brief glance she cast toward me. A predator sizing me up without realizing I was the one holding the trap. Clara leaned closer, tablet in hand. I've cross-checked the latest investor queries. She didn't account for the discrepancies in Thompson's projections. If we time it right, they'll question her decisions. I smirked. Patience. Timing is everything. Let her make the mistake herself. Raj whispered, and when she does, it'll be spectacular. I gave him a faint nod, then turned to Elena. Elena, can we go over the investor questions together? I noticed some of your responses might need clarification. Her smile didn't falter, but her eyes sharpened. Clarification? Really? I prepared carefully. Are you doubting me? Not doubting, I said evenly. Just making sure the board sees the most accurate picture. You know how critical these calls are. She tilted her head, playful yet wary. Of course. I always deliver, don't I? Usually, I said, voice calm but deliberate. But even the best make mistakes. That's human. Elena's eyes narrowed for a fraction of a second, then she laughed lightly. Human? You make it sound so serious. Clara whispered, she's sweating just a little. Raj added, good. That's what we want. I leaned forward slightly. Elena, I reviewed your reports from last quarter. There are small inconsistencies, patterns that could be interpreted in multiple ways. We should address them before the board notices. Her smile faltered just for a heartbeat. Patterns? You're imagining things. Everything was in order. Everything? I raised an eyebrow. Even the Thompson data? The projections? The missed deadlines? She hesitated, then laughed, attempting charm. Minor errors. Nothing catastrophic. You overthink. I leaned closer, voice low but sharp. Minor errors repeated consistently aren't minor anymore. The board may start connecting dots. Dots you'd rather keep hidden. Elena's jaw tightened. You're threatening me? Observation, not threat, I corrected. But awareness is important. Reality is unforgiving. Raj whispered, she's realizing we're no longer blind. I glanced at Clara. Document everything today. Every hesitation, every correction she makes. We need an indisputable record. Clara nodded silently, tapping rapidly on her tablet. Elena crossed her arms, her confident smile intact, but her voice was firmer now. You're turning this into a personal vendetta, aren't you? Vendetta? I echoed. I'm ensuring accountability. The board, the investors, everyone deserves the truth. That's all. She tilted her head, intrigued but cautious. Truth? You're sure you want to play that game? Absolutely, I said. I've waited months for the right moment. And now, you've given me it. Derek leaned closer to her, whispering something she laughed at, but I could see her glance toward me again. The charm was still there, but the confidence wavered. Small, almost imperceptible signs, but enough. Raj whispered again, she doesn't realize the tide is turning. I nodded. And when it fully turns, she'll be unprepared. That's the advantage of patience and strategy. Never let the other party dictate the tempo. Clara muttered, it's working. Slowly, but it's working. I gave a faint smile. She thrives on the illusion of control. Remove the illusion and the rest follows naturally. Elena glanced at me one last time before heading toward the boardroom. You're obsessed with details, aren't you? Focus, I said simply. Obsessed? Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely. She paused, a flicker of unease passing through her perfect expression. Well, let's see who comes out on top, shall we? I let her leave, turning to Raj and Clara. Everything depends on her next move. Watch her every step, every word, every glance. When she missteps, it'll be undeniable. Raj grinned, voice quiet. The predator has become the hunted. I leaned back, heart steady. Not hunted. Calculated. And this is just the beginning. The tide is turning, but the storm hasn't broken yet. Soon, Elena will realize she's no longer in control. Clara whispered, and when that happens? I nodded slowly, feeling a rush of cold satisfaction. She'll see that charm and smiles can only protect you for so long. Every action has consequences, Elena. Every single one. The boardroom door closed behind her, leaving silence. Shadows stretched across the office, a quiet reminder that patience and precision were the deadliest tools. And I was ready to wield them. The boardroom felt colder than usual, though the sun poured through the windows. Elena sat at the head of the table, smiling at everyone, but I could see it, just barely, a flicker of tension in her posture. Good morning, everyone, she began, voice smooth. Shall we review the Thompson projections before the call? I leaned back, calm, letting my presence fill the room. Yes, Elena. Let's go over them. Her eyes flicked to me briefly, wary. Of course. I prepared thoroughly. Everything is accurate. Accurate? I repeated, voice low. Because Clara and I found several discrepancies. Missing invoices, altered numbers, misreported deadlines. Small errors, but consistent. Elena's smile wavered, just for a heartbeat. Discrepancies? That's impossible. I double-checked everything. Double-checked. I leaned forward. Then perhaps you missed the emails, the revisions, the notes you made that contradict your reports. Her hand tightened slightly on her notebook. You're being dramatic. These are minor mistakes. Minor? I raised an eyebrow. Minor errors repeated over months appear intentional. Patterns are clear, Elena. And intent is undeniable. Raj whispered quietly, she's realizing we're serious. I am serious, I said, voice firm. We're all serious. The board deserves truth. Investors deserve truth. And you deserve accountability. Elena's smile returned, practiced though less convincing. Accountability? You've been obsessed with this for months. Are you sure it's not personal? Personal? I repeated coldly. This isn't personal. It's professional. But your choices, they've blurred the lines. Clara stepped forward, tablet in hand. Every discrepancy, every altered projection, every manipulated report, I've documented them all. Emails, revisions, even internal notes. It's all here. Elena's eyes flicked toward Clara, momentarily unsettled. Clara, you've been watching me? Not watching, Clara said calmly. Recording facts. Truth. Patterns don't lie. I leaned closer to Elena. You've played games for months, thinking charm and smiles would protect you. But charm only works until the truth surfaces. And today it has. Elena's fingers trembled slightly. You can't do this. Can't do what? I asked softly, letting the weight of the room settle. Show facts? Reveal consequences? Expose decisions made at the expense of others? That's not me. That's karma. Raj whispered, she's panicking now. Watch her carefully. Elena straightened, forcing composure. You're trying to humiliate me. This is manipulation. Not manipulation, I said, voice steady. Transparency. You left the trail. We just followed it. Her eyes narrowed. The board, they won't believe you. I smiled faintly. They already have. And the investor call this afternoon? That will seal it. They see numbers. They see evidence. And they see a pattern of intent. Elena's jaw tightened. You won't get away with this. You'll regret it. Regret? I echoed. I've already suffered enough months of your games. Betrayal isn't easily forgotten. But you'll learn what it feels like to be powerless. To watch as control slips through your fingers while everyone realizes the truth. She slammed the notebook onto the table. You think you're clever? This won't ruin me. I leaned back, calm, letting the silence speak. You think you're untouchable. That's why this is so satisfying. The cracks were always there. You just never noticed until they became impossible to ignore. Clara whispered, she's crumbling. Just a little, but it's enough. Raj nodded. Patience pays off. I addressed the room, voice measured. Everyone, these discrepancies affect Thompson projections, budgets, and overall strategy. The errors were consistent and intentional. I believe the board and investors deserve to review them carefully. Elena's eyes widened. You, how dare you? Dare? I interrupted. I dare because truth demands it. Because accountability matters more than charm. Because trust, once broken, must be acknowledged. Her smile finally faltered completely. For the first time, the mask cracked. You've planned this? Not planned, I said, voice steady. Observed. Collected. Watched. You created this path, Elena. I just followed it. She pressed her hands to the table, trembling slightly. I never thought that you'd be exposed? I finished for her. You were brilliant, Elena. Too brilliant for your own good. But brilliance doesn't erase responsibility. The room fell silent. Every eye on Elena, every board member aware, every investor waiting. She could smile no longer. Raj whispered, the tide has turned. I nodded, eyes cold but calm. And the storm is only beginning. Karma doesn't need me to strike. It only needs patience. Elena's perfect smile, the one that had hidden months of sabotage, was gone. And in its place? Fear. Real, undeniable fear. And I watched silently, letting her finally taste the consequences of her choices. The office was quieter than usual. Elena's desk was empty, and the hum of activity felt subdued, like everyone was holding their breath. I knew why. News of her failures had begun spreading. Raj leaned against my doorframe, smirking. She's gone silent. That's a first. I nodded slowly. Silence speaks louder than words. She knows the tide has turned. Clara appeared, tablet in hand. The board has requested a detailed review of Thompson projections. Elena's errors are under scrutiny. Investor confidence is wavering. I let out a slow breath. Good. Let the system take its course. She can't charm this away. Not now. Raj whispered, and she won't recover her usual composure either. I glanced toward the empty CEO chair. Funny, isn't it? The woman who smiled through everything, who manipulated everyone, now she's invisible. That smile won't save her. Clara hesitated. Do you feel satisfied? I shook my head. Not satisfied. Relief maybe. But this isn't about satisfaction. It's about justice. Karma. A knock on my office door made me tense. Elena stepped in cautiously, avoiding eye contact. Her voice was softer, less confident. I wanted to explain. There were reasons, pressures. I didn't intend to. I held up a hand. Save it. Explanations won't change facts. Every decision, every alteration, every lie is documented. Her lips trembled. I thought I was protecting the company. Thoughts don't erase consequences, I interrupted. Intentions matter little when the damage is done. You underestimated everyone, Elena. You underestimated me. She swallowed hard, voice shaking. I made mistakes. Yes, I said calmly. You did. And now the board and investors are seeing those mistakes. You're accountable. Raj muttered quietly, it's finally sinking in. She looked at me, eyes pleading. Please, can't we fix this? Can't we? I shook my head slowly. Fixing it isn't my responsibility. You created the path. You'll walk it yourself. Clara added softly, we've documented everything meticulously. It's undeniable. The truth is clear. Elena's hands shook. I didn't think anyone would notice. I let a small, controlled sigh escape. That's the thing about patterns, Elena. Repetition leaves traces. And I always pay attention to traces. Always. Her gaze fell, defeated. The boardroom whispers, investor calls, the looming collapse. They had already begun to unravel her carefully constructed world. Raj stepped closer, voice low. This is the consequence. You wanted to be untouchable. Now you're not. I never wanted this, she whispered, almost to herself. Intentions, I said quietly, don't matter when trust is broken. Karma doesn't care about your reasoning. Only actions. And actions have consequences. She stared at me, tears glistening but unfallen. You were always patient. I never realized. You never realized, I finished, voice calm, because charm blinded you. Smiles and wit can only protect for so long. Patience and observation are stronger than charm, Elena. You've learned that the hard way. Her silence was absolute now. The mask was gone. Nothing left but the reality of her failures. I leaned back in my chair, voice gentle but firm. Go. Let the board finish their review. Let them understand. I'll step aside, but the truth will remain. And it will speak louder than any charm you've ever used. Elena nodded slightly, unable to speak, then turned and walked toward the door. Her steps were quiet, hesitant, heavy with realization. Raj exhaled softly. The storm's over. Clara whispered, justice doesn't need to shout. It just arrives. I stared at the door, letting the silence settle. Months of betrayal, manipulation, and scheming had ended. Karma had moved in silence, but it had moved inevitably. I touched the Thompson files on my desk, letting the weight of responsibility sink in. This wasn't triumph. It was closure. A reminder that trust, once broken, leaves traces, and patience ensures they're eventually revealed. And as I watched the office settle into calm, I felt the first real sense of peace in months. Elena's exit wasn't my victory. It was the natural consequence of her choices. And I was finally free.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.